So it's common that our kids are going to ask us at some point if someone is saved. I want to start a series called Tough Questions That Kids Ask. And I think number one might be, is so-and-so a Christian? Is grandma a Christian? Is Trump a Christian? Am I a Christian? I think it's good for us to think through how to respond, how to capitalize on these discussions, and how to talk about this with our children. I want to encourage you, it's a great opportunity. Of all other opportunities, because they're actually asking the question, to talk to them about what the gospel is. What does it mean to be saved? How do we get saved? By what means do we come to salvation? Even when they're tiny, we can do this. And this is so good for us to spring on this moment. I actually recently had a child of mine say to me in the car while we were driving, "But Mom, how do you become a Christian? I keep trying to figure that out and nobody has told me." And this makes me laugh because my daughter has a pastor for a dad. We talk about it. We read the Bible. She attends church. She just hasn't heard it yet. She's trying to figure it out. She wants to know. She's growing up, so she's learning more and more. So of course, we have to capitalize on those moments, and we have to tell them and talk to them and answer their questions and try to bring it at their level. Okay, number one, as a tip or something to think about in this, only God knows the heart, and He decides who's a Christian. He's the one. We can't, give a thumbs down or a thumbs up. 1 Samuel 6:7 says this, "But the Lord said to Samuel, 'Do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart.'" We know that God sees the inside of us, who we really are, not just the outworkings of it. And so what I try to stress with my own children, even when they're young, is, well, God knows, and we can trust God. I can't say yes or no. I can't give assurance. I can't, provide that sticker, yep, they're a Christian, yay. But God sees and God knows, and He determines. And so we can trust Him. That's something wonderful to stress. Number two, when they're asking, share the gospel with them. When they say, is grandma a Christian, or is that neighbor a Christian, or whatever it might be, stop and share the gospel. Oh, do you know what it means to become a Christian? What does that mean? And of course, we want to go through the elements. And if they're younger, more simple. And if they're older, more complex. But we want to share that God is the creator. He's holy, He's just, and He loves us so much that He sent Jesus to this earth, who lived a perfect life. Then He went to the cross, took on our punishment for sin. He died, but He didn't stay dead. He rose again. And because of His life and His work, when we believe and repent of our sin, we can become a Christian. Number three, evidence of salvation. We want to bring up that even though we can't see who's a Christian, there are evidences of a person who follows the Lord. In Matthew, we see every healthy tree bears good fruit, but the diseased tree bears bad fruit. A healthy tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a diseased tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, you will recognize them. You will recognize followers of Christ by their fruits. And we see in the Bible, fruit is just the evidence of salvation. Look at how they live their life. Look at what they do, how they spend their money, what they say. We can kind of look and see the evidence. And sometimes that's helpful for them in their own life. And when we're talking about others, of course, respectfully, to look at the fruit and see if it looks like they do follow Christ. Number four, we should celebrate any move to Christ or towards God. We want to encourage them. When they ask, we want to tell them how happy we are to talk about it. We're always here. We want to say this is one of the most important conversations and questions, especially when our own kids are asking about their salvation. Kids might say, well, I'm not a Christian, but I do love God. I've had kids say that to me, my own children. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm so glad. I love that you love God. I can see that. That's awesome. We always want to celebrate, encourage, make it a good and positive thing that they're asking, that they're thinking, that they're questioning. Because we see in 2 Corinthians 13:5. It says, examine yourselves to see whether you are in the faith. Test yourself. We're supposed to test and question and kind of think about it even as adult followers to make sure that we really are Christians. And so it's a good thing when our children question and wonder and ask. We can pull out our Bibles, we can drive and chat with them, but we can help them to think through it, to figure this out. So I hope the next time you get that tough question that you have some tips to help you answer those questions and answer them well.